One of my questions I always like to ask is like, what makes you guys different? So what is different about maybe the way that you offer your service, or if a client says, "Hey, Katy, what makes you different than the other guys?" How do you normally answer that question?
Well, we do customized bookkeeping first and foremost. So whatever the business or owner or employees do or don't want to do, we're going to support and however that makes sense. So sometimes that's the entire picture. Sometimes that's just a piece of the picture. We are not afraid to grow with you, or say you get to the point where you actually do need to hire somebody internal. It makes more sense. We're going to help you make that transition as well. And I guess I come from the foundation of I always want to create a win-win in any scenario. So in saying that, I want to do the best, for both and grow with that. And that sometimes is together and sometimes it's apart. And we've gotten some in book businesses to places and we're like, I can't, you're on your own. Congratulations, because they come to us and it's an absolute mess. And they go and they get past the point just where it makes more sense to bring it inside. So.
This episode is brought to you by Pierre Tax and Accounting, led by CPA Eric Pierre, a seasoned accounting and tax expert with years of experience helping individuals and businesses navigate complex financial landscapes. Whether you need personal tax planning, business tax strategy, bookkeeping, or financial planning support, Eric and his team are committed to helping you protect and grow your financial future with clarity and confidence. To get expert guidance you can trust, check out Pierre Tax and Accounting at pierreaccounting.com. We'd also like to thank Data Driven Decisions, founded by Katy Forester, for sponsoring today's show. Data Driven Decisions specializes in accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, and advisory services tailored specifically for small businesses and entrepreneurs who want financial clarity and peace of mind. From KPI reporting to fractional CFO support and QuickBooks training, Katy's team brings big firm expertise with a personal touch. Visit them at datadriven.coach to see how smart financial support can make all the difference in your business growth. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Katy Forester. She's a friend of mine from Dan Martell's elite community. She is the owner of Data Driven Decisions. Katy, I normally describe you as the best bookkeeper I've ever worked with, and I mean that. And she has taken incredible care of anybody I've sent her way. She is also one of our sponsors of this podcast, so I wanted to get her on the show and kind of pick her brain on some stuff. Well, Katy, tell us your story a little bit. Tell us how you kind of got into the space and how you started the company.
Yeah, I guess I have always been a piece of the puzzle when it comes to the finances, whether big corporations, nonprofits. And when I became a mom, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to open up the door into bookkeeping and then have that kind of on the side. And that was a very long time ago. And so come around COVID time, like pre-COVID, I was having people come up and ask me to do their bookkeeping on the side. And I just thought, sure, why not? I have the knowledge. And so I started that, and then COVID hit and I had like 3 or 4 major contracts that were going to be signed, of course, the day or two later. And those fell off, and my little bookkeeping clients just like more started to come, and it just kind of grew from there. And so I decided, I guess, since COVID, to open that door and dive in and really help small businesses and owners just become, give them, I don't want to say financial freedom, because that's not really the word, what we offer, but it's clarity. It's really financial clarity.
Yeah. Tell us about, I know you have a pretty broad client base, but are there any industries in particular that you really enjoy working with or serving?
We help pretty much every industry. The construction side is starting to load up more and more, honestly. But we will help anybody that needs help with bookkeeping. So whether that's construction, whether that's service oriented, we're happy to help anybody that needs help in that space.
What do you, one of my questions I always like to ask is like, what makes you guys different? So what is different about maybe the way that you offer your service, or if a client says, "Hey, Katy, what makes you different than the other guys?" How do you normally answer that question?
Yeah. Well, we do customized bookkeeping first and foremost. So whatever the business or owner or employees do or don't want to do, we're going to support and however that makes sense. So sometimes that's the entire picture. Sometimes that's just a piece of the picture. We are not afraid to grow with you, or say you get to the point where you actually do need to hire somebody internal. It makes more sense. We're going to help you make that transition as well. And I guess I come from the foundation of I always want to create a win-win in any scenario. So in saying that, I want to do the best, for both and grow with that. And that sometimes is together and sometimes it's apart. And we've gotten some in book businesses to places where I can't, you're on your own, congratulations, because they come to us and it's an absolute mess. And they go and they get past the point just where it makes more sense to bring it inside. So
I love that. I don't think a lot of bookkeeping firms would probably do something like that, is hand the baton off to someone internally. So that's a really cool thing that you do for your clients. When it comes to the business in general, what are some things that are going really well? And then what are some challenges you guys are facing?
Well, I would say the elephant in the room is AI. You're seeing how that's coming in and have taken over, some of the tech space. And I would say I think it's definitely coming for the bookkeeping and accounting space and financial. It's just a matter of when and how we're willing to adapt. And so I would say one of the challenges is we get told, hey, this AI can do everything for you. And you get into it and it's an absolute nightmare because you have to learn it and then it doesn't do what you want it to do. Right. So learning that and going along with that and walking clients kind of through those steps would be one of the initial challenges. Not that AI is a challenge, but just where we expect it to be and where it is just right now is probably two different places.
What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by Von Finch Investments. If you're a business owner or investor looking to grow your wealth beyond the stock market, you need to check out Von Finch Investments. They give you access to institutional quality real estate and private credit deals without the headaches of managing properties yourself. Their model is built around alignment. They invest alongside you, and they only win when you win. If you want passive income, tax efficiency, and real asset exposure, Von Finch is worth a serious look. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. Yeah. And then when it comes to, let's talk about that for a sec, because I know you have been using AI. You've talked about some of the AI that you have been implementing. How do you pair that with the services you offer? Because I know you think it's a 1-2 punch, right? You are leveraging AI and you're also using some of it for delivering the services that you offer to your clients as well.
Yeah. So in one of Dan's coaching meetings, he was like, you guys should be AI first. And I really I took that kind of to heart, but initially it was like, how? And so I want to say probably about a month ago, it was kind of obvious, at least from the research that I had done, that bookkeeping is going to change drastically in the next year or two. And therefore my business will likely change to some degree in terms of how we do things. And so I think it's going to offer, how we use AI is actually to connect more. I don't know if this is, I'm gonna say this and you can cut it if you want to. So what we do is, one of the ways that we've implemented it is in taking customers. So when a customer calls, they actually talk to an AI agent. We get all the information that we need to, and we can then come back to them and have answers for them. Where before it was probably this receptionist would take the information and it would go through these things, and we can just be so much faster and spot on with what the actual client needs. And I kind of say this, I know I've said it to you, You don't go on holiday to do bookkeeping. So a lot of times when you're in that space, you actually don't want to do a space. It's a means to an end. So if we can help expedite that, that's truly the goal. So you can act upon, whether you need get answers or get clarity, however that works.
Why would I cut that, Katie? That's amazing. So you have an AI receptionist taking your calls. I wish every one of the blue collar guys I talk to would take that seriously. I just think that's a cheat code. So I think that's amazing. So I'm glad you're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say actually have them give our number a call and they can see how we've done it, because we can, it's truly amazing. It puts, it offers clarity for us and then direction for those who are calling us.
Yeah. I met with a property management firm the other day, and they were talking about how their secretary, I didn't know people still did this, but a lot of people walk into their office to pay their rent. And they were like, between the phone calls and people walking in, to pay their rent. And she's like, she gets caught in a conversation with someone that wants to pay their rent, the conversation is like 30 minutes to an hour, where the person's just catching up on their life with the girl they're trying to give a rent check to. And I'm like, I would automate your phone calls with AI all day, Anyway, I think that's such a slam dunk in this day and age. What's the value, Katie, of having a bookkeeper? I know that this is something that people kind of just, maybe they just kind of do it internally, or it's something that they kind of just, maybe they don't do it well. Why? I know you really love providing clarity to business owners. Why is it helpful to have an outsourced bookkeeper like you? And what kind of clarity can that provide?
Yeah, well, I mean, we all have so much time in a day. And I'm in a space that I really enjoy being in. And I say that because I don't spend lots of time on, advertising on Instagram. That's just not my wheelhouse. That's my space. And I think the same goes for bookkeeping. If you really enjoy the space, then please, by all means, be in it. If you don't enjoy the space, then it's worth looking at somebody like us who loves to be in that space. And I genuinely believe that's how you grow your team and grow the environment that you want to be around, be around. And so I would say for somebody, if they're opening up QuickBooks or they're frustrated by not being able to get the answers that they want to out of their financials because they're not clear, then that's when it makes sense to actually open that door and walk down that space to see if it, so you don't have to be it's too short. You got to spend your time wisely. And I would say that's one of the best ways is to, if you love booking, do bookkeeping. If you don't, hand it off.
Yeah, I've never met someone who's like, oh, I love doing my bookkeeping. There's never been something that people mutter. So I see it as incredibly valuable. And I had actually another one of my sponsors, Mike Rakowski. He is going to reach out to you because he was like, yeah, I need this. So I'm excited for that connection. Okay, you and I know each other through Dan Martell's coaching community. I know that the buy back your time principle and some of the elite coaching has been helpful. What have been one or two things that have really kind of been transformative, I suppose, from Dan's stuff?
I came to Dan and I was in a specific gross revenue spot, and I couldn't shift it. And so he just gave me super practical things that are obviously common sense, but when you're in the weeds of your own business, they're not super common sense. And so for him, he was like, put all the other stuff aside and sell. And so that's really just those simple practicalities, and how he breaks them down have been amazing. I mean, we bet through Dan, but I have my virtual assistant through you. But it was Dan's steps in terms of how to create a successful relationship with your virtual assistant, create the systems to make them successful, to turn around and help you make you successful. Those structures have been instrumental.
Mm. All right, last question. Is there anything we haven't talked about today that gets you fired up?
Gets me fired up.
It could be totally unrelated to business. Could be a hot take about sports. Who's going to win the NCAA tournament? It could be, anything, family stuff, anything that gets you fired up.
Fired up. Let me see here. So many things.
Or just something simple. What do you like to do in your spare time? What do you like to do when you're not balancing the books?
Right now I'm chasing kids constantly. Soccer games, volleyball games, doing the science fair. So that's pretty, I would say, exciting and fun in the world. My husband, it's really exciting. We're going to Spain.
Oh, cool.
In May, and I'm really excited to go and do that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That will be a great time.
I would say travel, definitely travel.
I love that. Well, Katy, if people want to learn more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
You can find us at datadriven.coach is our website. You can reach us out directly there. We're also on Instagram as Data Driven Decisions. And you can give us a call at 253-733-1512. You will meet our AA, and she does sound very similar to me.
Oh, okay. So you cloned your voice a little bit. That's cool. Oh, yeah. Out of curiosity, which AI receptionist was that? One of Dan's tools, or was it a different tool that you installed?
I don't know if it's one of Dan's tools. It's one I stumbled across.
Okay, cool. All right, Katy. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Andrew.